Now, Matt, so far we've let you drive an electric Honda and a Range Rover, amongst other things, but a bit special today, Matt, really special. This is a very new Lamborghini.
The Aventador SVJ, limited to 900 units worldwide.
Yeah, it's probably that one, yeah. It's very powerful though, Matt, also.
770 horsepower, 720 newton meters of torque?
Yeah, I think you're right, yes. It's also got some sort of active aero that does stuff, which is all very high tech.
The Aerodinamica Lamborghini Attiva?
Yeah, that's it. Funny you should say that, yeah. Which sort of somehow flows air that helps reduce drag. So,
so you're talking about the little flaps in the splitter that push the air up and over and then stall the rear wing?
Yes, exactly that, yes, yeah. You're very good, aren't you, mate? You know your cars, don't you? It's also very fast indeed.
The most powerful Lamborghini ever, and actually, it was a Nurburgring lap record holder.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, whatever, it is it's a bit too quick, really, Matt, for you at the moment. So I'll be driving this one today. Keys, I think I left the keys in the house. Anyway, Matt, yeah. Great stuff. I'll be back.
No problem.
Soon as the keys.
I'm sure he won't mind. So what have we got here then? We've got a 6.5 litre naturally aspirated V12 with 770 horsepower, 536 foot-pounds of torque, a 0 to 62 mile an hour sprint time of just 2.8 seconds, 0 to 124 is dealt with in 8.4 seconds, and it'll go on to a top speed of 217 miles an hour. That engine is a force of nature. It really is. There is nothing I've driven that is like a naturally aspirated V12. It's got to be one of the automotive greats. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. But don't for one second think that the SVJ is a V12 and nothing else, because oh no, this car is so much more than that. It's not only the most powerful V12 Lamborghini, it's also the most sophisticated Lamborghini. So let me explain. We've got dynamic steer, we've got magnetic dampers, we've got all-wheel drive, we've got rear-wheel steer, and we've also got ALA, which I mentioned earlier when I was walking around this car with Tiff. But let me just go into a little bit more detail about that. So what the ALA system does is when the flaps in the front splitter are closed, it's channeling air up over the top of the car to the rear spoiler. And we've actually got 40% more downforce in the SVJ than we do in the SV. But then, when you're absolutely on it in a straight line and you need this car to be as slippery as possible, those vents open, which then redirects most of the air underneath the car and it stalls the rear wings, so you can get the absolute maximum performance in a straight line. I feel the word supercar means something slightly different these days. Over the last 10 years since the first Aventador was launched, that word has changed in definition. I think it now means a car that can do everything. Accessible performance, everyday use. 2 secs. Maybe not. As I was saying, gone are the days of supercars being impossible to drive and difficult to see out of. Or so you would think. The SVJ is not an easy car to drive on a daily basis. I'll say when the gearbox is in automatic, it's almost like when you've just learned how to drive and you're a little bit all over the place. It doesn't really know what it's doing in automatic, but you can kind of learn how to live with it. You learn what the gearbox is going to do next. In terms of visibility, out the front actually isn't too bad, but you cannot see where the front is. Out the back, it may as well not have a rear view mirror because you can't see anything. And then there's the seating position. These are carbon fixed buckets. And yes, they look incredible, but there's no adjustment. You can go forwards and backwards, and that's it. The ergonomics of this interior is 10 years old now. It's still using the same infotainment system that the very first Aventador was launched with way back in 2011. However, when you press that right pedal, everything pales into insignificance because the way this car makes you feel is like nothing I have ever driven. The way that it attacks bends, the way that it gives you so much confidence. I'll be completely honest, I was very intimidated by this car when I first saw it, but oh my, the numbers do not do it justice. The numbers are half the story. Oh, when you get up to the high ranges of that rev, oh, it's a force of nature. It's biblical, the sound that comes out of this car. Another thing to mention is I've never driven a car that changes its personality so much when you change it from mode to mode. So firstly, we've got Strada, which is for the road, and it's the mode you're going to want to drive your SVJ in most of the time because the dampers actually do an incredibly good job of soaking up bumps. Then we have Sport. Now the car, even just from Strada to Sport, changes. It gets so much harder and so much more aggressive. It's incredible. And then the far end of that, we've got Corsa, which on a public road is absolutely bonkers. And the suspension gets so hard, you can probably see right now we're on some very bumpy roads. Just popped it into Corsa for a second to show you. The suspension and the damping gets so bumpy and hard. That, I would say, is pretty much just for the racetrack. After spending time with this car, I don't think that no matter how much money you spend on a car, no matter how much it is, okay? I might be wrong here, let me know in the comments, I'm sure you will. I don't think there is anything out there that has this much presence and this much drama, especially in this colour. I really think there is nothing like this car. It's another planet. And on roads like this, on days like this, it is simply mind-blowing. It's everything I hoped it would be, and so much more. What a day, what an experience. When the world turns electric, I have to say, I think I'll remember today above all else. This is possibly one of the greatest moments I've ever had behind the wheel of a car. And I'm not just saying that, I'm really not. This car is everything. To petrol heads everywhere, this car is everything. It's absolutely superb.